I feel like that's when it really hits you. Like I have everything perfect in life, but for some reason still I don't feel like happy. Right? I'm still feeling down.
Yeah.
Like then that means that something must be wrong with me.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Zoo. Thank you for listening, watching, subscribing, and liking. Today we have Hunter Cioci here to my right.
What's up?
He's a good friend, teammate, and just to get straight into it, I guess, you've lived in Lexington your whole life, right?
Yeah, I've lived here in Lexington. I just lived where is it? More central, like next to UK.
Yeah. And Henry Clay District?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been in Lexington your whole life, but for the better part of last year, this whole past year, you have been in Utah.
Yeah, I've been in boarding school in Utah.
Boarding school in Utah. So I guess just how did you get there? Why did you go there?
So I got sent to boarding school, and it's called Triumph Youth Services, and I got sent there back in February, the day after Super Bowl Sunday. And I got sent there because I was doing a lot of stuff I shouldn't be. I first broke up with a girlfriend, and I had a lot of mental stuff. I had depression, anxiety, and a whole bunch of stuff like that. I got diagnosed with ADHD like a year ago from that. And then I started getting into drugs. I've been vaping, I was drinking a lot, and then once I broke up with her, I was like, those didn't feel enough, and I started smoking weed. And it turned into once a week, it turned into like a weekend thing, and then it turned into like every other day, and then it turned into every day, and then it turned into from when I wake up to when I go to bed, I was high the whole time. Mm-hmm. I was I had priorities though. I was still going to school, but I wasn't doing work in there. I was going to school, I'm like, if I show up, it just matters that I show up. Doesn't matter if I put in the work or not. And it started getting to a point so bad where I would go to school and all this, but then I'd come home, or I wouldn't come home from school, and then I'd show up at 11, 12 at night, and then just go to sleep. And then on weekends, I'd start to, Friday right after school, say I'm going to a friend's house, and I would not come home. My parents wouldn't hear from me, wouldn't know where I was until Sunday when I came home.
Mm-hmm. And then would they freak out when you get back home and yell at you?
Yeah, they would at first, and then I did it more and more, and then they were like, we don't know what to do, and they're stuck. They've been trying to find help. I've gone to therapists, counselors, all this to try and figure it out, and they've never been able to, and they were just scared. So they never yelled at me. They always tried to talk to me, but I was always either high or drunk when I'd come home, and they couldn't have an actual conversation with me. Would start to just give up, and then they went and looked for stuff to be able to get me the help, and then that's when they found Triumph and sent me there, and it's actually changed my life.
For the better?
Oh yeah, I've been 10 months clean now. I graduated high school. What else? I've gotten back into swimming. I'm looking at colleges, committing real soon to one actually. Mm-hmm. I visited 2 already. I got to visit 1 more, and I'm committing to 1.
So what was the hardest part about going there in the beginning?
The hardest part would be the realization that I was there, because the first week it just felt like a straight dream. It was this is not real. I did not get shipped off to this school, and the way that I got shipped off was in the strangest way possible.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit about that. You should.
So
very briefly described it to me.
The way I got shipped off was, since I was always sneaking out, lying, I was running away, all this stuff. My parents were scared to just say, "Hey, let's go," and take me, because they thought if they did, I would run.
Yeah, run away.
So the Super Bowl Sunday happened. I come home. I get in bed. I wake up. I go to bed. And then I wake up to these guys saying, "Hey, we're with the FBI. You need to come with us. We need to have a talk in our car." It's 3 in the morning, and it is crazy. I'm still high, and I'm like, what is happening? I don't even know. I was shocked. And I was the first thought that went through my mind is, oh crap, what have I done? What did I get busted for? What am I going to jail for right now? Because all the stuff I was doing was that bad. Mm-hmm. And so they get in the car, and they're like, all right. And then they just lock the doors and just start driving off.
Were they standing right next to your bed, over you?
So I was on my shoulder. I sleep on my side, and they come up, tap me on the shoulder, and say, "Hey, you need to come with us. We need to talk to you." And
In
I
your
was,
room?
yeah. And this is, it was horrifying.
Yeah.
And they also would they
Your parents
pointed.
weren't there either, right?
My parents were there,
Oh, okay.
but they just were in the basement.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, my brother didn't even know I was taken till the next day. So my mom took my brother to school after I was gone, and my mom was like, "Where's Hunter?" And he's like, "Oh, he's sick." And I'm like, and she's like, "Oh, okay." He comes home, and then and my mom "No, he doesn't come home." They go pick him up from school, take him to Canes, and they go, "Hunter's been shipped off to boarding school."
That was when you found out?
Yeah, this is the
after school.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then that I get in there, and I'm they're talking to me, and I'm still high, and I'm tired, so I just fall asleep. And then they wake me up in Indianapolis, and I'm like, "What are we doing here?" And they're like, "We're in an airport." They explain to me all my rights. They're like, this is federal and legal government property. If you try and run here, if you try and do anything criminal, you can be charged with felony crimes. And that was first off, I got to wear slides in there too. They won't let me wear shoes.
Really?
And so when I do this, they put me in handcuffs. They take me through the prison, the security area, the higher
This is in Indianapolis?
Yes, this is in Indianapolis. So they take me through there. I get scanned. I go through TSA, and then we go into the airport, and then that's where I get on a plane to Vegas. And I'm like, first thing, because I was like, "Yo, I'm going to Vegas," and I'm like, "Yo, I can do all this stuff here." But then I remember,
It's just a party.
"Yeah," and I'm like, "Oh crap, I'm in handcuffs. And I know where I'm going." Apparently, by
You're
two guys in the
You're being
FBI.
treated like a fugitive or a felony.
Yeah, and I'm like, and then we get there, and I'm like, one of the guys was actually pretty chill. I actually liked him. The other guy was a little bit, I don't even know, he was just a little bit weird. But
So why were you in Vegas?
So I was in Vegas because...
That's just your connection?
Yeah, no. So we flew to Vegas, and then we drove 2 hours into... what part of Utah is it? It's the southern Utah, I forget where. And that is where I had to stay at a holding facility for a week to quarantine from COVID, because it was all during the COVID time. We had to go there and quarantine. So I was there for a week, and I'm like, all right, this isn't that bad. I like this. It's real chill.
Yeah, were there people... I mean, but you couldn't talk to anyone. Right?
No, I could talk to people there. And it was actually really chill. And I'm like, oh, I actually like this here. Because all we did was watch TV, go play basketball, kickball in the gym, watch TV, go to sleep. That's it. And then...
With who? Who else was there?
There was a bunch of other people. It was actually a mental facility. So it was meant for people who have with suicidal ideation and depression and stuff like that, to help them with that.
Yeah.
And to put them in a safe environment so they don't have a risk of harming themselves.
So when you were there, did you feel like you kind of connected with those people more?
There, yes. And then, so it's been 5 days, and they're like, all right, you're leaving. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And they're like, there's 2 guys here, they're taking you to Triumph. And I'm like, that's when I found out about that. So I pack my bags, I go downstairs. There's 2 guys. They're both one's around 6 foot, the other's around 6'5". One of them is super skinny and covered in tattoos from head to toe, face tats, neck tats, everything. The other one's just super big and just built. And I'm like, when I get there, I'm like, where am I? Because everywhere there was real nice. It was just a bunch of high school, college kids working there, super friendly, because they're a bunch of depressed kids. They're supposed to.
Okay.
And then I see these 2, and I'm like, I'm going to prison. I'm straight up going to prison. And so then they ask me questions, they talk to me, and then then we get in a minivan, and I drive 5 hours up to northern Utah, and that's where I stay there. And then I arrive at Triumph on February 15th to start my 9-month journey.
They told you before you started?
Yeah, they told me, and they talked about it. And if I used to have long hair, hair down to here,
really
and the first thing he said, he says,
"Put up a picture."
What?
We can put up a picture.
I bet. Put up a picture of it. But they're like, so let's do this. The first he's like, bro, I love that hair, but it's all got to go. And I'm like,
Did you go?
Yeah.
what? He
How
says,
much of it went?
Every single bit of it. I went bald, no guard.
I heard it wasn't even a adult who did it, right?
It was one of the kids.
Uh-huh.
And he actually got diagnosed with split personality disorder while I was there, and then got sent to another place.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty crazy.
Wow.
I'm not supposed to I can't really talk about the kids because of HIPAA, which is a privacy thing for the kids in there. So I'm not going to say names and not describe them as much.
Definitely.
So it was like, and I see them, and like every time they get a new kid, like they're like, new kid, ooh, 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 and we all get excited because like they're either gonna be super
How many
chill.
kids were there?
So I was in a house called Expeditions. So there's two houses, Expeditions and Alpine, and EXP, which we shortened it for short.
Yeah.
It had around like, the lowest we had was 7, and the biggest we had was like 15.
Wow. So this isn't like a big.
It's not huge.
Okay.
But then Alpine, on the other hand, the smallest they had was like 16, and the biggest they had was like 28.
Oh.
Okay.
Did they keep you all completely separated?
They did most of the time, but unless we do activities together. So it's like, it's a phase thing that you do. So you start off on detox. Boundaries are you get there, you have to get your head shaved. You have to wear slides. You can't go outside. You can't talk to people for 2 weeks.
What's with the slide set?
A run risk. So,
Really?
because
That's funny.
I actually, believe it or not, ran.
You
What?
did.
Wow.
When?
Was like March.
So
So-
how far into it?
So it was like a month, not even.
Wait,
And
so not past detox?
yeah, I got off detox and was like so the next phase is base camp.
Yeah, wait. So back to detox. What's like the day-to-day when you're in detox? You just
You do the same thing as everyone else, but you just can't really go outside unless you're with people who are admin, who are the higher ups in the facility. And so I had to go out with them and stuff like that. But unless you get like trusted and stuff, they'll let you go out, which I was towards the end of my detox phase. And then I hit base camp, and then some kids actually, freaking kids are smart now, believe it. Some of them figured out how to get like nicotine. They got chew into the facility. You know me, I've only been there for a month. I want to use still.
Yeah.
I used, and then so you take piss tests every week, and I showed up in that, and I got the fight or flight, and I ran. So they let me outside to air out a dog, because there's dogs at the program. That's one of the special things about it.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, I've worked with a lab called Odin. Love him to death.
Was he like yours? Like your?
No, he wasn't mine. He was someone else's who left, who was a past youth, who left for Alaska, worked there.
But like
You were in charge of him?
Yeah, till he came back from Alaska.
I see.
And so I was working with him, doing all that. But so I took him out and just took off when I went outside.
Where did you run? Was it like
It
woods
was
and stuff?
No, it was a city. It was in the middle of a city.
Oh, okay. Populated?
It's like a little bit smaller than Lexington.
Okay, so pretty decently sized
Yeah.
city.
And I'm thinking I'm gonna get back to Lexington from here, like 3,000 miles away.
Bus or something?
I don't even know.
You had no plan.
I had no plan at all.
ran.
Yeah, and then I like went, and I blacked out. Like it was like just a blackout for me when it happened. I was like, and then like an hour later, I realized what I did, and I was like, I messed up.
What did you do?
So I went under a tree, sat there, cried for a little bit, thought about it, walked around downtown of the city, got some air, walked back to the facility.
And they just let you back in?
No, I rang the doorbell. Yeah. So they usually will be like, usually they send people out to search for you. The staff search for you. They call the police and have the police search for you and all this other stuff. And then but I turned myself in, which is a big thing for me. And that actually was the turning point in my time there. That made me realize like, only way I can get out of here is if I actually change, because I can't fake it. I can't like just wait till I can wait till I'm 18, but I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Because I'd still be there right now if I was waiting till I was 18.
Yeah, your birthday's December.
January.
Right before mine.
Yeah. So I'm like, I actually want to do this, and I'm like thinking about it, I'm like, I actually do want to change for the better. And it made me do a lot and realize a lot. I'm like, I actually want to do this.
So that was the point.
That was the turning point.
How did it feel? Were you like, did it feel good, or were you more like...
It felt really good, actually, because I'm like, a few months into it, I was like feeling sober, more like that, and I'm like, I can actually breathe. I actually am healthy. And then we have a gym there, and I was like, I'm just going to hit the gym, because that's all they can do. So all we can do there is, like, we have a team, but it's a rugby team. So I joined that, and that was so much fun. I recommend doing rugby if you can. It's so much fun. And so I was just hitting weights and just eating a lot, trying to bulk up and do rugby. And then they actually found out that I was a swimmer. And Like, my mom told them, and they're like, we want to see if you want to get back into swimming, so we will take you to the pool to swim.
Oh,
Yeah?
So I was doing that every once in a while, and I actually started to love it, because I'm like, oh, I can breathe. I'm actually liking this. Even though I'm still out of shape, I'm like, that's the thing, is I can breathe.
Yeah.
So then that's, like, started off my swimming again and wanted me to get back into it.
So at
now
the
you're going after it.
Yeah. Yeah. You're going to college for swimming, right?
Yeah,
Rugby?
I'm gonna. So I'm mainly going for swimming, but if they have a club or a team, I may walk on or try and be a dual sport athlete.
Mainly swimming. But so at that point when you were like, okay, I'm gonna change, right? How long was it you think that you were kind of just down? How long had you been down for?
Like in the past or while I was there?
Just total, like in your life in the past. Like how long was
Say since I was 14.
14. And so you were like 17 at the time, so 3 years, right?
2014 was like...
Oh, 2014.
Yeah.
I thought you
Oh,
were
no,
14
when I was
years
14
old.
years old. No, not 2014. When I was 14 years old, yeah.
Oh, 14 years old. So it's been like, what? It's been probably around 3 years.
Yeah, no, it was like 6.
6 years?
Yeah.
So 2014?
2014?
No, I was 14 years old. Wait.
Yeah.
3 years.
14,
I
yeah,
am,
3 years.
I was
That's
out
right.
of it.
That's right. Well, this isn't a math podcast. It's right.
I know. If it was, I wouldn't be here right now.
3 years. Yeah, but that's a long time.
Yeah, so like I've been doing it for so my dad had a heart attack, witnessed it. You guys probably remember hearing about that.
Yeah.
So that was what kicked off my depression, which then sparked anxiety, and that's when I got experimented. I stopped swimming a little bit, and then I was like, I'm gonna try vaping because people say it helps with my anxiety. Because I always was trying to like just self-medicate myself to find something to do this.
Yeah.
But then so I was like doing that with it, and that's what started it off. So I started vaping when I was around 14, kept doing it 15, 16, and then like started drinking around 15, 16, then started smoking around the end of my 16-year-old and then 17.
Was there a point where you were like, I'm in trouble?
Yes. I was like, pretty much when I started smoking is when I was like, I want help. But I didn't know how to ask for it without going to my parents because I was scared of like just talking to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I want to say this, but I'm like, I don't know how they're going to react or what they're going to do. And I was just scared. Because then that's the anxiety again kicking in. Is like, what's going to happen if I do this?
Yeah. It's definitely like terrible. Like you start small, you think, vaping, it's like not that big of a deal. It might help me even.
Yeah.
Right. There's actually a Wall Street Journal post that just came out yesterday. It's a pretty large study. It says vaping is just as bad as smoking. It says the average person, they're hooked on it just as much as an average smoker is.
Yeah.
And even though it might be a little bit less harmful, the addiction is definitely the worst
that's
part.
the thing too. I was like, that was the main thing, the addict. So I have like the addict personality.
Yeah.
Like, I have a family history of it, and that's my personality is addictive. Like,
Yeah, and like whenever you choose to do something, you're also like really into
yeah.
it. I can-
So like, I can get like when I was at Triumph, I got addicted to the gym.
Yeah.
Like I do it, and I was like, oh, I love this adrenaline rush after. I love just this feel, and I was like,
Yeah.
I want to do it every day, all the time, nonstop. And like with that addiction though, I have some good ones and then bad ones.
Yep.
So like,
Yeah, it's definitely like a curse and a blessing.
yeah.
Like it feels so good to be really like enveloped in something, get good at something,
Yeah.
but like it can go the other way too. Not even just doing like getting addicted to bad things, but like getting addicted to good things also and like failing in those good things.
Yeah.
That can feel really bad too.
Yeah.
So
So you got into Triumph. You got into your camp. What was your day-to-day routine?
So day-to-day routine was, so I was on the dog program, so I was doing the dogs.
What does
So
that mean?
It means you have to wake up a little bit earlier and have responsibilities for taking care of the dogs, helping out with
actual
the dog.
dogs. Okay.
Yeah. So you'd wake up at 6. So I would start from the beginning. You wake up at 6. You eat breakfast. You shower. And then you watch dog videos on how to train dogs. 7, everyone else wakes up. They eat breakfast. And then after that, we take meds. And then after that, we would go outside, the dog boys, to work on dogs, like to work outside with the dogs, train them, take care of them, feed them if they need it. We come back in. We usually do a thing called PRS, where you talk about like different topics of like self-care and mental health. And then after that, we do school. So school was from 10 to 12 with a 10-minute break at 11. We'd have lunch from 12 to 1. And then school again from 1 to 3.
Okay.
And that's like the morning. And after that, we have usually like, that's where like we do the fun stuff. We'll go to the pool in like afternoon. You go to the pool, or you'll go to rugby practice, or you'll do stuff like that in the afternoon, or play games, and we eat dinner in there. And then we go to bed around like 9.
Do they have a bedtime? Like,
Yeah, it's 9.
right. So it's a pretty busy day.
Yeah, it actually is. So like, the time actually for me went by super fast. Like, it felt like I was there for a month.
Is it because you liked it?
It was that, and it was also just busy. Like everything we were doing, we were always like busy. And we had that set schedule.
Do you think that's part of? I mean, obviously it's part of their rehabilitation process. Do you think that's like that was a really big thing for you too, like having to do all this stuff?
Yeah, like having responsibilities and a set schedule, like to take care of and follow, is like one of the things that set me and helped me.
And also, like, when you were at home, was that the biggest thing also, like, not having a set schedule and, like, set you off?
Yeah, it was like, so like, I just had the freedom to do what I want. No one really tell me yes or no, and I didn't have a schedule. Like, I wasn't swimming, so I didn't have swim to worry about. I was going to school, but I was like, just go to school at this time, do whatever. And then, like, I didn't have work or anything, so I was just doing whatever I wanted, really. Sorry, I didn't have a schedule to follow or.
Okay. One more thing I also wanted to, like, was really curious about is if you were your parents, or, like, do you understand the decision that your parents made?
Yes, I do.
Do you think that they made the right choice?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I've told them this: if they didn't make that decision, I would either A, be dead, B, in prison. Yeah, it'd be one of those. I'd actually be either one of those.
Yeah, but at the time when they did send you, were you like really bitter towards them too?
I actually really wasn't.
Really?
No, I was like more like I really couldn't care about them. I was more caring about myself. So I'm like, why am I here? What is this? Like trying to think about why I'm here.
But you weren't mad at them for sending you there?
I was never mad at them for it.
Wow.
And actually, towards the end, I got super thankful that they sent me there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, it must have been super hard on them.
Yeah,
that wasn't the first thing they tried either, right?
No, that's not.
Did you do like therapy?
I've done outpatient centers. I've done therapy. I've done rehabilitation. Like I've done a whole bunch of other stuff.
Did you have medication also?
Yeah, and that was actually one of the key things was, so there they, like you talk to a guy who could get you meds and you tell him how you feel and what you think would work the best for you. And I got put on some new meds and that was a game changer.
Really?
Meds, yeah.
Do you think that like a lot of it might have been mental?
Or? I was like, a little bit, but also not at the same time. Like, I know the anxiety and depression is a mental, but, like, my addiction was mental and physical.
Were the meds more to combat the addiction or the depression?
No, they were meant, so my ADHD,
yeah,
my anxiety, depression. I actually got off my depression. I haven't been on that for, like, months.
Way to go.
I know. And then I got put on a sleep med, so it just aids your sleep and also reduces anger. And that one was the biggest game changer ever for me.
Reduces anger.
Yeah, like it's just a mood stabilizer. And like it keeps me from going like, I used to be like this, like have these major spikes up here of anger and then these major depressive moments, then back to anger and depressive. It was never like a flat line, which is what you want. Well, you want a flat line, both a little bit like this, but not like here to here.
You had too much.
Yeah, so with that stabilizer now, I'm like just this now.
Okay.
It's like usually mainly flat with a little bit of anger, a little bit of sadness, then joy and all that.
Did you feel that affect you in any other way? Like, were you playing rugby and be like, oh, I don't feel that's like that rush of excitement as much? No?
Mm-mm.
So you still felt the good parts?
Yeah, well the only like side effect from it is you just gain weight. but you can see a little bit. But I didn't do it bad. Like,
how many pounds?
Gained 70 in 9 months.
70.
But that's also mainly muscle.
Yeah, definitely you got a lot stronger.
Yeah, and I'm actually losing weight now, so.
That's good. What's the progress looking like?
I'm down 15 pounds.
Wow.
Already?
Oh, yeah.
How long? A week or two?
Like 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay, so that's a pretty quick progress.
I know. I like weighed myself 2 days ago and I was like, is that thing right? Because I was 215 and then I weighed myself and I was 200. I was like,
Come
Good
back
progress.
strong. Yeah.
oh.
What's the mindset going forward?
Mindset right now,
Yeah.
get back in swim shape,
Mm-hmm.
trying to find a job, and then decide on our college and get ready for college.
So wait, haven't you already kind of decided on college?
Yeah, I have a little bit, but I just gotta commit and then pay and then get ready.
That's good. That's good.
You aren't going to be starting spring, right? You're starting fall?
Yeah, I'm starting fall. I
Okay.
could be starting like in the January, but I didn't want to.
Uh-huh.
I was like, I'd rather go in the fall because that's when they're mainly for swimming. They're looking for me to come there is the fall because that's supposed to be my graduation year.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
So everything's really back on track.
Yeah.
Really, as if like you didn't really leave.
Yeah, it was a little bit there. Like I just vanished off the face of the earth.
What was that like? Coming back and like meeting people.
It wasn't really weird. It was just like I just like skipped a little beat. That was it.
Dude, I mean, you must have been asked like, where were you like a million times?
So many people asked me like, where were you? What are you doing? Where'd you go? And I was just like, I went to boarding school. That's it. And now everyone knows the truth now. If I never told you, so
you like mean to play it off just like boarding school, like okay.
Yeah, I was like, the thing is that if I want to tell I gotta sit down with you and talk for like
definitely.
2 hours, 3 hours to explain the whole thing.
Yeah, no, because like I got shipped off to rehabilitation facilities because I was really depressed.
And then you're like, wait, back, and I'm like,
You can't have a short conversation about that.
no, sad. I was like, just really not trying to like say, oh, I went to this for this, and they're like, and then just had this big conversation.
Yeah, because I think the weird thing for a lot of people who knew you before would be like, they'd be like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Right? They'd be like, you were dealing with. They probably have no clue you were dealing with like anything at all.
Yeah.
And
Like they probably just thought I was doing it for fun.
yeah.
I was actually trying to self-medicate.
Mm-hmm. Was there a point where you were just like, or was there a point before you went where you just like felt like you hit rock bottom?
Oh yeah, I felt like mainly like around November to when I got shipped off. I felt rock bottom. I felt like I could not go any lower.
Like
than
the
this.
whole time, there wasn't even like a moment. It was just day after day after day.
Like the Spotify thing came out today. You know.
Yeah.
It's like all this, and so my Spotify is.
Spotify thing.
Well, so it's like what you're most listened to and all that.
It's just like stats.
Yeah. So my Spotify only was there for my January, February, and a little bit of my November.
Mm-hmm.
But I looked at it and it was like just all sad music. It was literally nothing uplifting, just sad music on sad music on sad music. That's it.
Yeah, that's a weird thing too. I noticed like there was a moment or a point last year where I wasn't feeling too great either, and like listening to sad music, it's like it's weird because it makes you feel better, kind of,
But it doesn't.
But it also doesn't make you feel better.
No, it like makes you feel better, but it makes you feel worse.
I know this is like so many people relate to this because I've heard it actually a few times. And I've talked to people about this. It's like kind of like a similar to like drugs. I feel like kind of.
Yeah, it is a little bit.
I don't know. I think it's a bad comparison.
Yeah.
It's definitely a bad comparison. But
If you're sad, listen to uplifting music or talk to someone. It helps a lot better than sitting in your room with the dang door closed, dark, just oh my life sucks.
yeah.
It's a lot better, trust me. I did that and look where I ended up. Yeah. Now it's good, but back then, no, I would have been deader. Yeah.
Well, so when you're trying to self-medicate, was there anything that did work?
It
Anything you tried that did work, or was everything you tried? Like,
Everything I tried worked, but then it just wouldn't be enough. Like my just like emotions and my tolerance would go like through the roof, and I'd be like, oh, now that my vaping isn't enough, let's move to drinking. Now that I've done this enough and it's not good for me anymore, let's move to smoking. And then I feel like soon enough, if I kept like smoking and never got sent, I'd be like, oh, this isn't enough, let's go to pain pills. Oh, this isn't enough, let's go to cocaine. Oh, this isn't enough, let's go to heroin, meth, anything like that. And it could have just kept going like in a staircase, like here to here, 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 here. So it was just bad.
it's like a classic snowball effect.
Yeah.
So your priorities now are college?
Yeah. College, getting back in shape for swimming, finding a job, helping out my family, and having fun in the right way.
Yeah,
Just having fun is actually, you don't need to be under the influence to have fun.
Definitely. Yeah, you're doing like...
That's something else I found out there. Like, you don't, I always thought like you had to be under the influence to have fun. Like, oh, it's not fun unless you're drunk. Oh, it's not fun unless you're high. But it's actually a lot more fun when you're
How was your time there? Was it mostly
It was mostly
a good time?
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. I just didn't enjoy that when we get new kids who are like, oh, screw this place, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want and just ruin everything for everyone. Because if one kid ruins it, like does something bad, ruins it for everybody. Yeah. So like when you're getting higher up and towards the end of it, and you get these kids coming in and they're like, oh, I'm not doing this, and this ruins it for everybody.
But that was, you were more or less kind of like that when you came in too.
Yeah, everyone really is like that.
Yeah,
but
so it worked.
Sometimes you get these heaven on earth kids, and they're just like, "Oh, please!" And like kids get sent there for like, there's kids there for gaming addictions. There's kids there for just family issues, and like kids there who aren't even drug addicts. There, like you don't have to be a drug addict to be there.
It worked for you. Did it work for a lot of other people?
Yeah, it's worked for a lot of people. Like a lot of people. Like, I keep in contact with a fair amount of people I met there, and it's helped them a lot.
That's good. I've heard some stories. There's on TikTok. I've had a few videos pop up, and they were like these like wilderness camps. It's kind of similar.
Wilderness
camps. I'm talking about wilderness camps.
Those I've heard those are awful.
They're all like,
I've heard those are awful.
There's like crazy.
It's like
stories.
it's like you got to spend a year out in the woods and just survive.
Yeah.
But then you have staff out there that just make sure you don't run.
And I heard there's like crazy, just like messed up things.
There are, because there's no cameras.
Sounds like a horrible idea.
Like in the facility I at, there's cameras and everything except the bathroom, so that they can monitor everything. And if anything happens, they have proof that this. But then out in the wilderness, you have no cameras, so people can get away with doing stuff to like the kids that they usually couldn't if they were in a normal facility building.
I thought of something earlier, and I can't think of it.
Your life's too short, Hunter.
Huh?
Your life's too short. We don't have enough to pry at you about.
I know.
No, there was something before, but I can't think of it at all.
My life's too short, but it's been packed already.
Past couple of years, yeah,
for
sure.
Oh, I think this might have been it. So looking back, do you feel regret?
Yeah. Yes and no. I don't feel regret for like just being it, like myself. But like if I could, I wish I could go back and tell myself not to take that first hit.
Of course.
There are so many times I'm like, I wish I could go back and say not to do it. Like, you know the TikToks where it's like the new ones now where it's like me, 14-year-old me trying to log in on this website or something, and it's like me now, and he's like banging on the door going, no.
Yeah.
That's how I relate.
Yeah, it's Interstellar soundtrack.
Yeah, that's how I relate to it. That is how I relate to it. Is like me taking that first hit, and then me now up the like just banging on the door yelling, no, don't, no. That's how I relate to it.
And that first time, what do you think led you there? Was it just you trying to self-medicate, or was it a lot of like maybe other people
self-medicate? Other people were doing it, and like I also was just like, a lot of people are doing it, I'm just gonna try and fit in.
Yeah.
And then it just turned into a major addiction and a major problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, at that point, you weren't too like. You were still kind of you still, right? Like, you were still decently happy, right? You weren't depressed yet. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because before I remember, like, you were on the swim team, we were good friends, teammates.
Yeah.
For many years.
Yeah, for many years.
So
And like,
I was going through pictures earlier,
Yeah.
and I saw
Dude,
some
there's
of
the
them.
little baby us.
Yeah.
Oh my! It was like it was the relay.
There's
It
the
was
one of me, you, Nathan, and Jack.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, "Holy Christmas!"
Yeah.
And like we were, I mean, you were like a cool kid. Like
Yeah.
you're popular, you're good at sports.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, tall and
Yeah. Pretty good looking.
pretty good looking. Yeah, I mean, like you weren't like by any means like just a loser or anything. Like you're like had a good life.
Yeah. And then like that just blew it and took it all away pretty much.
The first hit. So was that before or after your dad got a heart attack?
That was after.
After.
Yeah.
And
After you were at Lexington Catholic?
No, it was like my freshman year, Henry Clay.
Okay.
That's when I started it. And I was doing a little bit at Catholic. I stopped actually. So I was doing it for a while and then stopped. And I was like, I don't want to do this. And then I started to like not like swimming for some. I don't even remember why. And then I stopped, and then that's when it hit hard again. And then I used again, relapsed, and then when it blew up.
Uh-huh. Why'd you choose to go to Lex Hat?
I was like, my dad always went to a private school,
Mhm.
like his life, and he was always just offering, like, you want to go try out Lex Cath, let's maybe go there and see how it is. And I'm like, all right. And I went there, and I actually liked it. And I was like, all right, actually, I'm going to go here. Because they also thought it would be better for me, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So they noticed. I mentioned earlier how like a lot of people wouldn't notice at all that you were dealing with anything.
Yeah.
Right. So, but your parents did notice like like your mental health was kind of falling and.
Yeah. And, like, I was actually able to talk to about, like, my depression and anxiety because I can feel open to that because I didn't have anything really to hide about it.
Yeah.
But, like...
Perfect.
So I looked at this new research thing, and there's a stat that says about 13% of U.S. teens aged 12 to 17 said they have experienced a major depressive episode in the past year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's up from 8% just 10 years earlier.
Yeah.
Doubled.
Yeah, like... And I feel like that's a lot now got to do with society. And especially in women, because I know a lot of women degrade themselves based on all these like supermodels they see on Instagram and stuff like that.
Oh, exactly.
And I'm like, just social media brings up depression a lot. And then same with like, I know nicotine actually, there's studies been found on nicotine that nicotine increases depressive moods and depressive moments.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So like, that's why I feel like that is actually very true.
Well, so first I thought like 2,000 years ago, right? People were living so terribly.
Yeah.
They were always trying to survive. They had no comfort at all, really. And people were dying all over the place. But for some reason, I feel like they still weren't as, like, depressed
Yeah.
as we are today. And I think part of that reason might be because it's natural for humans to always have feelings of being down once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but when you feel down, when you get those feelings, like those natural feelings, and you look around and everything is perfect, right? Like you have a family, and you're doing good in sports, and like you don't have to worry about anything at all, really.
Yeah. Yeah. And like with that, you start overthinking stuff, and you're like, why am I not this? Why am I not that? All this. And then that brings you to that, and you're like, and that's when that depression hits.
Did something similar like happen to you, or was it mostly problems that you actually had? Like what I just said.
Mine was from actual problems. Like,
actual problems.
What kickstarted it was my dad's heart attack, witnessing that.
Yep.
And then like with that, it was like family issues, and then like when I started doing drugs, and then that just kicked all that stuff just even higher. And then relationship issues, and stuff like that just brought it even higher.
What was the thing that affected you the most?
Same my dad's heart attack.
That's heart attack, of course, yeah. All right. So, I mean, I guess we've talked about you a lot. If there's something you can say to people who are struggling, listening, just anything, advice, what to do.
Reach out to someone. Don't keep what you have going on inside. It just makes it a lot worse. Like, if you're struggling with depression, you're struggling with anxiety, talk to someone. It doesn't have to be your parents, because I know a lot of people are scared to go to their parents. It could be your brother, it could be your sister, it could be your aunt, uncle, it could be a friend, it could be like someone you trust, it could be a teacher. Like, just go to someone and talk to them. And if it gets bad, reach out. Just reach out. That's all you can do. That is the best thing to do.
Exactly. Perfectly said.
Thanks,
All right.
Hunter.
Yeah, thanks for being on here.
No problem.
Great talk. I think super important talk, especially with all that's going on nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. Hopefully, you'll see Hunter. Are you gonna make like a commitment post on Instagram or something? Or do you still have Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be making a post on there soon.
So what's your Instagram handle?
It's hunter.cioci, which is Cioci.
Hunter.Cioci. Go hit him up with a follow, and hopefully you'll see where he's going soon. Thank you for watching, viewing, listening, subscribing, and liking, hopefully. And we're out. Alright. Perfect.
Yeah!
Yeah. I think that was a good 50 minutes. So.
Stop.
Yeah. Did you want to say anything else?
No, I don't know what else to ask.
Yeah.
He asked everything.
We've sucked dry the whole.